Hello, welcome back. Today is a great day to be alive because today I'm going to show you how I make one of the most loved chicken dishes the world has ever known. Now, whatever you do, you don't want to miss this. This is You Can Cook intro. I'm getting excited just thinking about this dish, the world famous chicken Parmigiana. Now maybe it's just me, but seriously, who doesn't like the famous bread-coated chicken with that luxurious Italian flavored tomato sauce topped with melted cheese? Even if you're not a meat eater, you can easily quite put this over with one of my favorites, which is homemade gnocchi or the fried polenta. Extremely nice. This really is heaven on a plate. Even a bad chicken parma is pretty dang good. Now we're still categorizing this dish in this season's What's in the Fridge, simply because I had 2 chicken breasts that were left over from last night's dinner. Now I'm going to show you how I create this dish along with 2 unusual twists, which is what I do with most of my dishes. I got to twist them, I got to tweak them my own way. There's a bit more involved in this, but believe me, you'll see it's absolutely worth it. The things you're going to need for a really nice chicken Parmigiana. Obviously, your chicken breasts, and I'm going to show you how I cut those up in a minute. You need to crumb them, so you need your egg wash, your flour. There's all different kinds of bread crumbs, and I bought this herb and garlic, so by putting stuff in your homemade breadcrumbs, super nice. Look, I've got 2 different kinds of panko crumbs. These are nice, but I don't use them but very often because read the ingredients, that's one reason. And then you just got your plain old $1 bag crumbs. They're nice, you know, they're all really nice, but let me show you how I go about making my breadcrumbs, which includes one of my twists. I've got some sourdough bread here, real sourdough, and it's been drying out for a couple of days, so it's still got a little bit of moisture in there. You can also use fresh sourdough. It's a bit harder to make the crumbs. You got to probably most likely use a knife, but oh man, it's super nice. These kind of crumbs are just, ooh, they're that good. Here's how I do it. First, I just go about cutting up the dried stuff that I've got, and it is hard. From this point, I just basically put them into my little food processor. Now look, if you don't have a food processor, or if yours is broken or just can't handle it, it takes a pretty tough food processor. You can make your breadcrumbs just by keep on chopping like you would your herbs, and you've got breadcrumbs. Now, being honest with you guys, I did have to take some of these out and actually chop them up with a knife to get my breadcrumbs. But what I do with my breadcrumbs, I grow herbs, and this is thyme and oregano, and it's not very much. And I throw that in there, and here's the one twist that I do that just gives it a really nice, I don't know, it does something, but it's the zest of lemons. And I've got 3 lemons. I grow lemons, so it doesn't even matter if I wasted that juice. But look, 3 lemons, I usually zest it straight into the bowl, but there it is. The thing with that though, with the zest, it doesn't really mix very well, and you almost have to sort of knead it with your fingers, almost as if you're making short crust pastry. And the other good thing about it is that, like, if you see people put salt and pepper in their breadcrumbs, but really the salt just works its way right down to the bottom. It doesn't stay in between all the breadcrumbs, whereas the fresh ingredients, the fresh spices, and the lemon zest does. You see a lot of people, they cut it in half, but they don't go, or they cut it in half that way, and then they fold it over. They don't go all the way through. But it's a big piece of chicken to work with. I don't do it that way. I do it a lot easier. I start at the big fat end, and I just cut off a chunk. I take a piece of plastic, put it over the chicken, and you don't pound like crazy, little tiny pounds. You're trying to get a certain thickness so that they're all the same thickness. They'll all cook at the same time. They'll all be finished at the same time in your pan. The plastic just stops it from any bits and pieces flying out all over the place. Now before I go ahead and I crumb my chicken, I take pepper, and instead of salt, I use chicken salt, and I just sprinkle, and usually just the one side is sufficient. and pepper, optional of course. Look, most of us have crumbed things. You know what it's like. Straight into the flour, well coated. Very simple. Into your egg wash. Some say, you know, only use the one hand and all that. Well, I don't worry too much about it. Every now and again I get over to the kitchen, give it a nice little rinse. I'll finish these off and then we'll start cooking them. Seriously, just by themselves, how nice does that look? If you've had these in the fridge overnight and you want to do what I'm just about to do here, just maybe take one of these on a plate and heat it up before you put it under the grill. Now, normally I make a nice, rich tomato sauce with lots of Italian flavors, but today, one of my twists, or probably I'm sure people have done it before, but it's one of my, what I call one of my twists, is a roasted red pepper sauce, capsicum sauce. It is absolutely exquisite. It's divine. Now, for those of you that have never made it or want to learn how to make that or how I do it, there's going to be a link down below, so just click on that. It'll take you straight to that. We kind of smother that with the sauce. Now with the cheese, I like to use more than mozzarella. Mozzarella, it's nice. It's got that nice stringy texture. It's kind of chewy, and that's what I like about it. But the thing I don't like about mozzarella, it's almost tasteless. It has very little taste to it. So I've got grated 50% mozzarella and 50% a really like vintage cheddar, really nice, a really nice aged, tasty cheddar, so that I get that really nice cheesy flavor, but I also get that little bit of stringiness in there. And look, guys, I like lots and lots of cheese. Now, with the beauty of video, I'm going to go throw that under the griller and be right back in probably about 5 seconds. How quick was that? And had I ran over there and ran back, it'd have been faster. Seriously though, guys, it only takes, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and it looks just like that. This is the last of my sweet basil out of the garden. It looks a little bit, I don't know, could look better, but it's still got that really nice basil pungent smell. And now I'm going to tuck into this because this is my lunch. Look, you guys, you want to see more food like this, the way I cook, or want to see me grow on YouTube, then by all means subscribe right here where my mug is. Okay, I'm Rick Michelle. This is You Can Cook. See you next time.